We all know how sometimes it's very tedious to actually create a rig, to add all that information into our show. Well, we're going to show you one way to make that a little bit easier. If you are a user of Vectorworks, we're able to use the Vectorworks data exchange to actually bring all that data, all that fixture information that you've created in a drawing, in a plot, right into Plexus to make your job a lot easier of actually creating a rig. Now, one of the first things that we're going to have to do here is update the data file, the Vectorworks data exchange file, with all of the data from our plot. There's a little trick we have to do to actually get all of the fixtures out of the Vectorworks drawing into the data exchange or XML file. Normally what the data exchange is doing is keeping up with updates, and it's throwing just a few things into the XML file. If we want all of them, we have to do a little trick here that's coming into the Spotlight preferences. That's through the document settings, Spotlight preferences on the file menu, clicking this perform a complete export on exit, and what that's actually telling Vectorworks is we want everything in the XML file. And then all you really need to do is go to another program. So for instance, we want to just flip right over to Plexus. That actually writes out all the data into the XML file, and we're ready to import it. Okay, now we're actually ready to import fixtures into Plexus. I've got the rig editor open here, and I'm going to go down to the bottom where we have our Import Vectorworks button. I click on that, and what that actually does is open up this dialog box to import the data that we want. First thing we need to do is get the file, the XML file that we're going to import, so I'll click on that, and that opens up a dialog box. We'll select this file here, click Open, and our dialog box fills up with a bunch of information. The first thing that we need to do here is come over to the right hand side and actually map different fixture types in the Vectorworks file to fixture types that Plexus understands. The ones that are mapped, we've got this notation over here to what it's mapped to. The ones that aren't mapped are empty. So we'll come over here and say this 50-degree source 4 is a conventional. I click on that and it maps it up for us. I'll come down here and take that source 4 par and map that to conventional. This other source 4 par will map that to conventional, and on down through the list, anything that we need to map. Now, over on the right-hand side, or sorry, the left-hand side here, we have a list of the fixtures that are actually that we want to import. Now, some of these guys are in white, some of them are in red. The ones that are in red mean that we don't yet have enough information to actually import those into Plexus. The ones in white are ready to go. There's a few pieces of information that needs to be filled in before we can do this. First of all is that it needs to have a dimmer, it needs to have a channel, and it also needs to have that fixture type mapping. When I roll over these different fixtures here, what you'll see is a notation of what is missing for this. So in this one, we're missing a dimmer and the 19 degrees mapping, and up here it's just the mapping. So we want to bring in some of these fixtures. So I'll come back over to this side here and map the 19 degree source 4 to a conventional. And you notice all these now go white. We've got the mappings that we want. Now there's several different ways I can select fixtures, and we're not going to take all these fixtures in this time. What I can do is I can click on this box here, which actually selects all these fixtures that are ready to go, or unselects them. I'm going to unselect and just pick the ones that I want to have come in right now, which will be those there. And then down at the bottom of the list, I've got some moving lights, which will take these in. Here, I've got all those selected. Once I'm ready to go, all I have to do is click the Do Import, and we get all of the fixtures that I just selected now into our rig for Plexus. And from here, we can add them onto the magic sheets just as we normally do. So that's how easily it is to actually add fixtures from Vectorworks.